Somebody in the comment section the other day said, hey, put your videos on Spotify. And you know what? That's a great idea. So every Chaos and Chaos Gaming video and audio is now available on the Chaos Gaming podcast on Spotify. The link is at the top of the description. Domination is my favorite game mode in Call of Duty, and I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. A good Domination map will have this nice balanced tug-of-war between the two teams fighting over 3 flags, but sometimes the tug-of-war is a little too quick because of where that B flag was put. Today, we're going to be counting down the 20 easiest B flags in Domination history. This has been a much requested topic, so I can't really call out who requested it, but whoever you are, here you go. These are the maps where there was a constant flip-flop of control over the B flag because something about the placement just made it too easy to capture while being pretty difficult to control. So you guys let me know which of these B flags you thought was the easiest to capture. Domination is my favorite game mode of all time, and yes, I read every single comment on every single video. And at number 20, Turbine in Black Ops 2. This is one of the most recognizable maps from Black Ops 2. Definitely not one of the most fast-paced because of the fact that the snipers, well, they loved it. You had super long sightlines, tall power positions, made it a really good map for modes like Search and Destroy. But ironically, it also made the B map, or the B flag in Domination, really easy to secure. The B flag here was placed right in the middle of the map on a patch of low ground, and you would think that would make you a sitting duck for all the snipers on the high ground, but it was actually kind of the opposite. There was enough cover surrounding the B flag that you could just angle yourself a certain way and be completely hidden from all the sniping spots, meaning you could hop on the flag, and then you could be finished capturing it by the time the snipers relocated to get an angle on you. So for such a big map, I mean, Domination here was actually pretty exciting because one person could take the B flag pretty easy. At number 19, Ardennes Forest in CoD World War II. First of all, this was a beautiful map. I'm a sucker for a good-looking snow map, especially in Call of Duty. The B flag in Domination here was situated on the top of a little hill with 2 ways up, 2 ways down. It was also tucked away on the side of the map instead of being dead center like a lot of Call of Duty maps are. So because of the fact that the B flag was in a power position and it wasn't in between the other 2 flags, this meant taking it was one of the easier things to do. All you had to do was run over, make sure the area was secure, and then run up the hill, go prone for a few seconds, and boom, you have the flag to yourself. Now, eventually people would find their way to you, flush you out with grenades, but that typically didn't happen until after you finished capturing the flag. So it was this weird situation where it was easy to get people down from the B flag hill, but it was also really easy to capture the flag before you got killed on the hill. So, I mean, the B flag on this map was constantly switching control during the Domination matches. At number 18, Frontier in Infinite Warfare. Now, Frontier was one of the first maps we ever laid eyes on in Infinite Warfare, and in case you blocked this game out of your memory, which I understand, Frontier was the map set on the space station with the long white corridors and the zero gravity effect that meant your body would float away after you died. But it also had it was a 2-story map. Most of the fighting took place on the top story where you spawned in, and the top story was also where the A and C flags were located in Domination, but the B flag was on the bottom story. It was down the hallway, meaning if you stepped on the B flag, the enemy team usually wouldn't even have enough time to get to you before you finished capturing it, and that's assuming you didn't just shoot them while they were running down the hallway to get at you. For such a fast-paced, tightly packed map, I think the B flag was weirdly tucked away in a good way. Made it capturing really easy, especially if you had a buddy with you to speed up the process and help cover the hallway. At number 17, Flak Tower in CoD World War II. Now, Flak Tower was one of the more fast-paced maps in CoD World War II at launch. Pretty super straightforward 3-lane layout like most of the launch maps in CoD World War II, but if you were playing Domination here, you were probably getting constant announcer callouts that the B flag was under attack because for some reason, Sledgehammer decided to put the B flag inside a little hut in the dead center of the map, meaning you could run in the hut, sit on the flag while being completely covered from all directions with walls and a roof, and then run away once the job was done. The only way to get you out of the middle of the B flag was a good timed and place grenade throw, or just by running in with a shotgun, which hardly ever worked because whoever was capping the flag was also camping the entryway before you got there. And since we're talking about maps with a little hut protecting the B flag, one more, but we have to go farther back. At number 16, Breach in Black Ops 3. Same deal here. Breach was a pretty straightforward map that was pretty fun, had some nice pacing, but in Domination, the B flag was constantly flipping control because Treyarch decided to give it a little hut that you could sit in and be protected from most angles while capturing the flag. So if you ran into the room with a buddy or two, you could capture the flag before anybody got close enough to think about challenging you. And if you were running a shotgun like the Brecci, which a lot of you were, I know you were, or even the Argus, you could completely hold down the entrances to the room by yourself while you secured it. I like the map a lot, but I always felt like the B flag Little too easy to take, although it did make for some pretty fast-paced matches since it was constantly flipping from one team to another. At number 15, we're going way back. Radiation in Black Ops 1. I think this is one of the most unique maps in Black Ops 1, because there was a whole second level to the map that hardly anyone ever went to because it was behind a huge big blast door that you had to manually open with a special button in the middle of the map. But here's the thing. The B flag in Domination, it was behind that secret door. So you and a friend, if you're coordinated, you could literally just get on the flag, close the door, keep yourself from ever getting shot while you captured it. I mean, granted, it was a little hard to set up, and if the blast door was open, the flag was basically impossible to capture because you were completely exposed. But if the door was closed, the B flag was completely free. Had to be on today's list, even if it was kind of situational. I mean, I think number 15 is a fair spot for this map because if you waited until the time was right, there was literally nothing the enemy team could do about you capturing the B flag. At number 14. Cheshire Park in Modern Warfare 2019. I think this is one of the most balanced maps in this game. I'll admit, it was pretty good, and I don't usually have many positive things to say about this game, even if it was, like I said, it was good in one of the worst Call of Duty multiplayers of all time. Part of what made it so balanced was just how easy it was for the B flag to turn into a back-and-forth situation, which to me was a nice breath of fresh air after most of the Modern Warfare 2019 maps where the B flags were way too easy to hold and Domination was always a blowout. Park had a pretty exposed B flag in the dead center of the map, but there was also a ton of chest-high cover pieces surrounding it as long as you knew which side of the map the enemy was spawning on. You could go capture the flag pretty easy, pretty reliably, and keep the tug-of-war going. Now, I do crap on Modern Warfare 2019 whenever I get the chance, but I will admit when a map is good. And I think Cheshire Park was definitely one of the better maps in the game. If this map was in a game like Black Ops 2, classic Modern Warfare 3, I feel like it would have been a fan favorite. At number 13, Terminal in Modern Warfare 2 2009. We all know it's one of the best maps in CoD history. I would confidently say it's the best Infinity Ward map of all time. But if you're a frequent Domination player like me, you probably know just how much of a back and forth struggle in this map was with the B flag. I mean, the B flag on Terminal is almost entirely surrounded by waist-high cover. You could go prone and be completely protected, or you can crouch and use it as a head glitch so you can fight off attackers. Now, 2 players, easy to capture the B flag here, regardless of how many defenders were in the area, and it helped keep Domination super fast-paced, honestly, despite the size of the map. It was a big map. At number 12, who remembers Icebreaker in Black Ops 4? This was one of my favorite original maps from the game, which isn't saying a lot because I wasn't very impressed by any of the original maps in the game, but Icebreaker was consistently pretty fun, especially in Domination. The B flag was on the side of the map instead of the dead center. And there was this wide open sightline from it from A to C flag, which made it risky to run up to. But once you got to B flag, there was so much cover from every direction, which made it really easy to secure, especially if you had a teammate or two with you. This was one of those maps where you basically always have to have somebody guarding the B flag because if it was left unattended, it was going to get captured by just one enemy player really quick because they had so much cover to take advantage of during the process. And that actually made it a pretty nice map for constant back and forth. That makes Domination a fun game mode for me. The B flag was really easy to capture, but it wasn't easy to hold, which I think is the balance for making a really good Dom map. At number 11, classic. Crash in CoD 4. One of the most iconic maps from the original Modern Warfare 4. Did you guys actually, raise your hand if you actually experienced this in CoD 4, not Modern Warfare Remastered. I mean, I'm sure some of you remember getting into some absolutely intense sniper battles here, intense fights for control of the various buildings that surrounded that downed helicopter in the middle of the map. But inside the downed helicopter was the B flag. Despite there being a ton of verticality on this map, and despite the entire focus of the map being that helicopter, the B flag was actually weirdly easy to capture because you could just lie prone inside the wreckage and be covered. I mean, actually getting to the helicopter was tough, but once you were there, you were basically guaranteed to capture the flag because once you were inside the remains of the chopper, there wasn't really a good way to get you out of it until you stood back up, at which point you already captured the flag. Now we get into the top 10. Village in Modern Warfare 3 2011. We don't talk about this map enough. It was always one of the most underrated maps in classic Modern Warfare 3, and I'm shocked it hasn't come back. I mean, do you remember when there were leaked screenshots of a Modern Warfare 2019 DLC map and everybody thought it was going to be Village because the buildings looked kind of similar, but then it turned out to be that Sawmill map and everybody was pissed off? I mean, I remember it. So, B flag on Village. Located on a bridge, no overhead cover, which would make you think it was literally hard to secure, but it really wasn't because this map also had about 90% of the fighting going on away from the B flag. If you were playing on the map, You were probably fighting around that big hill in the middle of the map or those patches of buildings across from it, or maybe even the caves where the A flag was. But the B flags, it was tucked away in its own little section of the map. It was pretty easy to run up and capture it, even though it was technically completely exposed. This map was fun. I mean, I hope someday they bring it back. I don't know who gets to choose the remakes, but sometimes I wonder, like, do they even play Call of Duty? Seriously. And, of course, if they brought it back, they'd probably add doors. At number 9, Shipment in CoD 4. Sounds weird to say, but classic Shipment actually had a super easy B flag to capture. Hear me out. There was an open shipping container on the site where you could lie prone and keep yourself completely safe while you secured the flag. Later versions of Shipment changed the layout and they screwed up the spawns, so the B flag got significantly harder to capture, but it's kind of crazy to think about the fact that the original Shipment was that way. Despite being the smallest map in CoD history at the time and by far the most fast-paced map in the game, it actually had a really easy B flag to capture because you could tuck yourself away in that container for a few seconds, cover one entrance by yourself with an LMG, and you had it. That's part of the reason classic Shipment was so fun in Domination. Constant back and forth on top of just being a chaotic but balanced experience. And number 8. Who remembers Sideshow in Advanced Warfare? The infamous creepy clown map based on a real creepy clown hotel in real life. The placement of the B flag doesn't really have anything inherently easy about it, but I figured I'd put it on the list because there's just so many random distractions on this map that made Domination pretty fast-paced since the B flag was constantly getting stolen. And the B flag wasn't, if it wasn't getting stolen, it usually was. But it wasn't, I guess it was, it wasn't easy to steal it. It was more because both teams were frequently getting caught looking at the scenery or the clowns or jumping around the rooftops. It's not that the B flag was easy, but it was rather the map was really distracting. It kept you from paying attention to the flag. Might sound weird for me to say, but if you were playing Advanced Warfare DLC seasons, you're probably nodding your head in agreement with me right now. Sideshow was one of the most distracting maps in CoD history, especially for objective game modes. At number 7, Crossfire in CoD 4. I would say Crossfire is one of the best sniping maps in CoD history. The big Z-shaped map where the A and C flags are located at the edges of the Z, and then everybody would equip a sniper, hunker down at one of the windows near their home flag, snipe the other team until the end of the match. That was it. But the B flag was located in one of the alleyways in the middle of the map, completely hidden from all of those sniping vantage points. So while 90% of the lobby was taking pot shots at each other, the other 10% was running the alleyways with SMGs and constantly taking the B flag back from one another, which is part of what made the map so fun. I mean, do you guys remember where the B flag was on Standoff in Black Ops 2? How it was sitting in the middle of the street being looked down upon by 5 different sniper windows? Crossfire? I mean, it was like if Standoff moved the B flag into one of the random side streets instead of being the middle of those sniper battles. Honestly, I think it worked well here. It let the snipers do their thing without actually destroying the pace of Domination, since the B flag was entirely disconnected from all those sniper showdowns. At number 6, Grazna raid in Modern Warfare 2019. Go with me on this. Be patient. Listen. Hear me out. We know Grazna raid's one of the worst maps in the game. It's saying something too. There was way too much clutter. The spawns were bad. Absolutely no flow. But with that being said, that also meant the B flag was completely up for grabs if you could make your way to it. Yes, actually getting to the B flag was a nightmare because of all the random windows, doors, corners, camping spots, Timmies. But if you safely got to the B flag, you just sat there. Captured it by yourself for free because you earned it. Nobody was going to be able to make it to you in time to actually challenge your capture. I mean, the spawns were too far away. There was no good lines of sights between the B flag and all the popular camping spots. I mean, Grazna raid, it's one of the stupidest maps in CoD history because of all that pointless clutter and camping I just said. But it also made the B flag one of the most free in CoD history to get, because if you could get there in one piece somehow, a miracle, I know, it was yours. Now we arrive at the top 5. Prison Break and CoD Ghost. Who remembers Bigfoot on Prison Break? If you do, leave me a comment. Most of the Ghost maps had blowout Domination flag placement because the maps were too big. Most Domination match in Ghost were complete blowouts because whoever secured the B flag first was just camping the spot and kept it secured the entire match because the maps were too big. But Prison Break, this map was big, but it was cluttered. It was almost impossible to challenge somebody taking the B flag without getting killed in the process. And because the map was so cluttered, in addition to being so big, there really wasn't any good camping spots to look over the B flag, which made it pretty easy to run in there, go prone, take it before anybody was able to relocate and stop you, and then run away. I mean, I think Prison Break was one of the worst maps in CoD Ghost, but the B flag? Pretty easy. I mean, I would say, I don't know. Prison Break was also really good for Infected. Random thought. At number 4, Countdown in CoD 4. Now, it was widely seen as one of the worst maps in CoD 4, and I didn't think that was fair because I always thought it was unique and pretty fun. Countdown was the map that took place on the missile launch site, and there were some annoying bottomless pits that you could fall into, but the B flag, dead center of the map, surrounded by big patches of smoke and steam, which kind of made it hard for people to see you while you were capturing it. You didn't need smoke grenades. For such a sniper-heavy map, the B flag was relatively safe from snipers unless somebody got a lucky grenade toss, which grenades, they had a big blast radius back then. You could secure the flag pretty easily most of the time. Now, I don't know why people dislike the map so much back in the day, and again in MWR, because I think this is one of the best domination maps in the game because of how effectively a couple players can team up and get into a tug-of-war for the flag. Then again, spawns could sometimes get hard locked at the A and C flags because, well, that's probably why the negative reputation. If you were playing against a party who knew what they were doing back then, they could keep you from ever getting out of your spawn area, which that made domination unwinnable regardless of how easy the B flag was to capture, so maybe it wasn't that good a map. At number 3, Arsenal Sandstorm in Black Ops 4. Now, this map is making the list for the dumbest reason possible. The B flag on regular Arsenal, balanced. Not too hard, not too easy. Arsenal Sandstorm, the B flag was one of the easiest in CoD history to secure because the other team literally couldn't see it unless they were 10 feet away. And if they were 10 feet away, they were just going to get killed by whoever was securing it. If you secured the area, the B flag was completely free because the whole gimmick of Sandstorm was the big freaking sandstorm going through the map, which made it virtually impossible to see anything more than 10 to 15 feet in front of you. So if you were on the B flag, you had about 10 to 15 seconds of free time before anybody could ever think about challenging you. By that point, you had probably already finished securing the flag and did a little dance and left. Treyarch ended up pulling the map out of the game entirely because it was that dumb and terrible, so you may have never experienced it, but don't worry, I'll never let you forget, even if you like Black Ops 4. If you did play Dom here, you understand. You could literally have the B flag stolen from under your nose because you could not see the person capturing it. At number 2, Makin in World at War. I think this is one of the coolest maps in World at War. It features a bunch of little huts connected by bridges over the water. You got an island beachfront, but since the B flag was located in one of those huts, that meant it actually took a bit of time to get to it, which meant you could secure it very easily by yourself if you could get there and secure the area. Now, in order to get to the B flag, you have to make your way across a couple bridges that were exposed. Even then, there was a lot of cover in the hut itself you could use, so you could capture it. I mean, you were almost certainly going to finish the capture process by the time the enemy team got to you. This is a map that I'm very shocked has not been remade at all because it's one of the most unique in World at War. And even though several other World at War maps have been remade several times, this one's been sitting on the shelf since 2008. I mean, that's a shame. This is one of my favorite maps for domination and classic war game mode. And you also had, what was it, Makin Night? You had the night version too. At number 1 today, had to go with Seatown in Modern Warfare 3 2011. Might seem like a left field pick because the B flag on Seatown doesn't seem like it should be an easy capture, but in practice, it kind of was. The B flag is located in the marketplace in the dead center of the map, and it's surrounded by high ground power positions that should be able to just clean you off once your location was made public by the announcer. But here's the thing. With the number of set pieces and cover pieces surrounding the B flag, it's actually pretty easy to find an angle that nobody could see you from. And if those players in the high ground power positions decided to jump off and come deal with you at close range, there's a good chance that the fall was going to hurt them and you could just clean them up before they could get you off the flag. I love Seatown back in the day, and the chickens too. And despite the B flag being exposed, I thought it was one of the easier ones in the game to capture. There was so much cover for you to take advantage of, and if you were one of the people sitting on the overpass or in that second story building overlooking it, you basically had to either sit there and let the B flag be captured, or you had to jump off, sacrifice your power position, and get hurt to challenge a person capturing the flag, which puts you at a huge disadvantage because of the fall damage. So yeah, might be a hot take for number 1 or a random pick, I don't know, but I think Seatown has the easiest B flag in CoD history. There you go. Let me know 2 maps that did not get B flag love here. And also, guys, somebody said, or a couple people said on the last video, the mic had some reverb. We just moved into a new house. The office is huge. So Ashley is helping me get some dampening stuff. And this should be better on this one, but it also should be way better come Monday or Tuesday once we get the full dampening, audio dampening setup in here. So just let me know in the comment section if this is better than yesterday. I'll see you soon.